Hey, welcome back to SLG TV. This is the place for coaches to be to build, market, monetize, and scale their coaching businesses. Today's video is all about self-expression and vulnerability because let's face it, coach, a huge goal for us is to be vulnerable in our content and position ourselves as experts, all without turning people off. You see, there's an effective and strategic way to be vulnerable, and then there's also a way when vulnerability backfires on you and your audience feels like you're the one who needs the support. So let's talk about it. To me, vulnerability means courageously sharing who we are, what we believe, why we believe it, and our stories of triumph. It means not holding back or filtering what we're saying out of fear, and boldly sharing examples of how we've been able to make it through a challenge, or even how we live our day-to-day lives. Now, to give you a personal example, it took a lot for me to share in-the-moment experiences and content on IG stories. Letting people into my life and into my home was very uncomfortable for a long time, but I knew that letting people into that space would help them to get to know me and like me and trust me much quicker. Now, this is a version of vulnerability for me. Brene Brown defines it as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. So how have some coaches gotten vulnerability management wrong? What I'm seeing is people constantly sharing personal stories of struggle, challenges, their wounds, or things they haven't necessarily gotten over yet. Now, it's okay to share those things for relatability purposes, but if you share those stories daily or even weekly, it could potentially be a turnoff and make people think you need the coaching or therapy. And if they think you haven't gotten your own results yet, then why would they buy coaching to get results from you? So let's figure out how to do this in a way that serves everyone. Self-expression goes hand in hand with vulnerability because in order to express your true self, you have to be willing to accept criticism from others. It's just a fact in the way things are. You have thoughts, beliefs, and opinions that are unique to you and that someone else might not agree with. And that's okay. Maybe you think that having a meditation practice is an essential part of your business and so you share about that online. Well, someone else might disagree with that and think meditation is a waste of time and might even feel the need to tell you their opinion. And that's actually great because you now know that you weren't meant to work together. So if you didn't show up as your best authentic, genuine self in that moment, you might have wasted both of your time trying to grow a relationship that was never meant to be. Self-expression and vulnerability also allow you to live a genuine lifestyle. It's exhausting to live like someone else, friend. You're going to be more relatable and you'll position yourself as a leader when you do. It's one of those brave things that other people want to see and know about you. Now, getting out there is scary and not everyone wants to do it, but you are, and you're leading the way and setting the example for others. So if you're ready to express yourself and get vulnerable, go ahead and follow these 4 steps to show up as a brave and courageous leader that your ideal clients can't wait to work with. Vulnerability step number 1, get your mind right. Okay, let's really think about the best ways to express yourself. Like I mentioned before, go in knowing that not everyone will relate, and that's okay. Now, I have people unfollow me on social media and unsubscribe from my emails all the time. We can't take it personally. You don't know what's going on in their life and what made them decide to unfollow you, and you don't need to know. Maybe their priorities or focus shifted. You can't assume that they just don't like you, and either way, it doesn't really matter. You have people to serve, and that's where your focus goes. Now, I've heard horror stories from other coaches about how vulnerability unfortunately backfired on them in their coaching businesses. And not because they were expressing their true, genuine self, but it was how they concluded their story or the tone that they were using. So once you have your mindset right and you are working on that mindset every single day, we move into vulnerability step number 2, which is to be clear on your purpose for sharing. So think about it. Are you wanting to inspire people? Are you wanting to invoke possibility or give hope? Maybe you're creating excitement, or you're sharing with your audience how you were able to get unstuck so they can get unstuck too. Really think about the why behind of sharing. Now, when you know how to express yourself ahead of time, you can make your audience the hero of your story. Coach, you're the living proof of what's possible, and you want to make them feel that if you can do it, they can do it too. Vulnerability step number 3, list out your results or the results of your clients. Now, these are stories that you're going to tell often, and they don't just have to be about you. So share the highs and lows. People like to know that they're not alone when they're going through the ebbs and flows of business and life. Now, if someone is in a low, you can share a story as an example of how things can shift and end up as a high. Next, you can talk about the emotions that came up. So tap into how you were actually feeling at those different points of your life or your journey into coaching, and tell people about it. Then you can share any limiting beliefs that happened along the way. Now, these are great to share because oftentimes people aren't even aware of limiting beliefs until they're told and can relate to someone else's story. And then lastly, tell your audience about times when you kept going even when you thought you couldn't. Again, you're leading by example here, coach, and you're showing people that you understand them because you were them. And I'm curious, what scares you the most about getting vulnerable with your peeps online? Go ahead and leave a comment here and I'll help you work through some of the stuff with some laser coaching. Now, after you share your stories, you then move into vulnerability step number 2, which is to position yourself as the solution. Now, showing up as the solution for someone is one of the most vulnerable things that you can do, especially if you're working on worthiness. Give your audience the steps, the tools, tips, and strategies, anything that you've used to make it through your ups and downs. Part of the purpose of sharing your story and being vulnerable and sharing your genuine self is to support people and hold space for them to feel safe for who they are. So you're just being the model of courage, and when you do that, people courageously step up for themselves as well. And there you have it, friend. Now you know the 4 vulnerability steps to effective self-expression and being vulnerable. Also, if you want to join a community of online coaches who are all getting vulnerable in their coaching businesses and their content just like you, I've created a Facebook group to help support your journey and connect you with like-minded people, so go ahead and click the link in the description below to join that now. And lastly, if this video was just what you need in your coaching business, please let me know by liking it below, subscribing, and sharing it with your coach friends. Until next time, coach, keep building your empire.